6 a.m. here on your Thursday, and a very good morning to you, Kentuckiana. I'm Grace McKenna.
And I'm Jim Stratman. Thanks for sticking with us here on WHAS 11 and on WHAS 11 Plus for a chilly Thursday.
Yeah, Matt, if you're heading out the door this morning, you might need to kind of grab the little jacket, at least for the morning time before the sun is fully up.
And that's right, you guys. Yeah, unseasonably cooler temperatures ahead for us over the next several mornings. This is just the beginning of a cooler trend that we're expecting as we head throughout the next upcoming days. Temperatures right now for our Thursday morning are ranging into the mid-50s, which is about 10 degrees below what we're typically at for this time of the year. Winds out of the west-southwest at 9 miles per hour, and you're noticing mostly clear skies so far this morning, but those clouds are starting to gradually make their way back our direction. I'm expecting a bit of a cloudier afternoon, but temperatures so far are ranging into those lower the mid-50s across Louisville. Outside of the city, we've got 50 near Elizabethtown, 50 near Shelbyville, 55 Scottsburg, and 55 near Bedford. That area of low pressure that kept us rainy earlier this week has now made its way farther off towards the northeast, but we're on the other side of that spin. That's going to keep us in the chances for seeing those cloudy skies arriving by the afternoon, and I'm not ruling out the possibility of a few isolated showers to develop just as we head later on into our day. So the remainder of our morning time remains mostly sunny, but into the afternoon, those clouds building in our skies. We'll see a few of those weak and brief isolated showers into the evening hours. And then by tonight, we've got mostly quiet and dry conditions, but check out these temperatures. We're going to be in the upper 40s tonight, quite the cool down than what we're used to for this time of the year. That's what you can expect for tonight. More details about your Memorial Day forecast coming up. Here's a quick check of traffic. Everything looking good out there so far this morning, whether you're trying to hop on the Watterson, I-65 or I-71 or I-64. Everything moving along good. If anything changes, we'll let you know. Grace, Jim.
That's what we like to see, Matt. Thank you very much. We do have some news from overnight for you, though. A wrong-way driver on I-64 led to a multi-vehicle crash. Police say it happened just after 10 o'clock last night, and they believe that that driver entered the expressway from Grinstead Drive, where he hit several cars before finally crashing near Melwood Avenue. After that wreck, the driver took off on foot, but didn't get very far. Police were able to arrest him a short distance from the scene. The other drivers involved were checked out by EMS, and one was sent to the hospital with what we're told are non-life-threatening injuries.
And police are also working to find out what caused a crash involving a Metro Corrections officer. It happened just after 7 at 3rd and Broadway. Officers say a marked corrections cruiser and another car collided at the intersection. The corrections officer was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but police said they appear to be okay. The other driver refused medical treatment.
The Trump-led Department of Justice is moving to scrap Louisville's consent decree, calling the Biden-era agreement legally flawed and based on cherry-picked data.
Mayor Craig Greenberg, though, says he's making it clear this is not the end of police reform in Louisville. WHAS 11's Alex Dieterer and photojournalists Aspen Hester and Emma Gefter show us how city leaders plan to push forward.
The DOJ is moving to dismiss its case with prejudice, meaning that the case will be permanently closed.
No more federal oversight for Louisville police reform.
It is sad, however, that is the state of affairs for our country, that we have a Department of Justice that quite frankly isn't committed to upholding justice or protecting the rights of its citizens.
The decision to end the DOJ's consent decree comes 2 years after a scathing report found a pattern of unconstitutional policing and civil rights violations within LMPD. The oversight now falling solely on the city.
We are moving forward with the community commitment, Louisville's consent decree.
Mayor Craig Greenberg says the city will hire an independent monitor to track progress of Louisville's own consent decree.
I'm happy to see the DOJ dismiss this. We have executed this job and made reforms even before the DOJ showed up on the scene. So we have demonstrated we can do it. We are accountable to the people.
Greenberg says the city's consent decree will happen in less time than the federal 5-year deadline and cost less money, estimating to cost taxpayers $750,000 as opposed to the $3 million for the federal consent decree. LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey doubling down on his commitment to reform, with or without a DOJ consent decree.
It's not about these words on this paper. It's about the work that the men and women of LMPD, the men and women of Metro government, and the community will do together in order to make us a safer, better place.
My fear is that the families of Breonna Taylor and too many more are not getting the justice on every level that they deserve for their loved ones that have been victims of police abuse, police inaccountability, and police terror.
The power now back in the hands of the city. Alex Dieterer, WHAS 11 on your side.
After a federal judge makes a ruling on the end of the decree, applications for Louisville's independent monitor will open and details for 2 listening sessions will be announced. There will also be an online survey where community members can share the qualities that they want to see in the independent monitor.
Happening today, the Jefferson County School Board will vote on the district's next superintendent. The candidates, Ben Schuldner and Dr. Brian Yearwood, spent time this week publicly answering questions from the community. The board will vote at 5 tonight. A decision will be announced after negotiations, which could happen as early as Friday. And JCPS is facing a new lawsuit after a student was allegedly assaulted at Butler Traditional High School. The lawsuit claims a Butler High School senior was beaten by another student after being threatened on social media, and that security knew but didn't do anything. His family says the attacker still attends the school while the student hasn't returned since November. They're suing for negligence, battery, medical costs, and a restraining order. JCPS has not responded to our requests for comment.
A man found dead at Metro Corrections earlier this week was facing charges for the murder of his father. The Jefferson County Coroner's Office identified the inmate as 42-year-old Brandon McQuillan. Back in March, McQuillan was accused of hiding a bomb under his car and shooting and killing his father, who was a former Jefferson County Sheriff's deputy. Jail staff say that other inmates alerted them to an emergency on Tuesday morning when McQuillan was found unconscious in a housing unit. He was pronounced dead a short time later.
A Southern Indiana woman is being accused of withholding donations from a fundraiser for a Harvest Homecoming shooting victim. According to court documents, Amber Tower owns a company which sold shirts and other merchandise to raise money for the Bryce Gerlach Memorial Scholarship Fund. She's accused of keeping the money instead of giving it to the family.
And I know that's, I think, members of the community, myself included, wish more could happen. As we talk about justice, it's not always the facts, it's what you can prove are inadmissible facts.
Court documents claim Tower owes the family more than $13,000. She's now charged with conversion, which is a misdemeanor.
A big splash for West Louisville happening a little bit later on today as city leaders cut the ribbon on the revamped Algonquin Park pool. It's opening for the first time in nearly 60 years. The $7 million state-of-the-art facility features a family slide, a lily pad bridge, and a climbing wall. The ribbon cutting is at noon, and the celebration continues this Saturday with Algonquin Community Day. From noon to 5, families can enjoy free pool admission for the first 600 guests to arrive.